You know what time it is, beautiful people. First impressions on the new buffer. I bricked my resources for this video, alright? Literally, look at that. 777 overloaded, the doll, a purple doll right there. Guys, this fucking sucks. Now, she's a pretty good DPS, so let's talk about this. Hello, the internet. Welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Thank you to all my patrons for making this content possible. Love you all bastards. Leave a like, subscribe, help me grow the channel. And let's get started with the first impressions, not on Isabel, even though she's probably my favorite waifu. My god, that skin is good. But instead with Arcana. Fan service sucks. I'm gonna stand on this ground. Oh, Sefhi, you can see a little bit through the dress. Shut the fuck up, alright? Look at this. What game am I playing? Huh? What's this? There is more jiggle on the cloth than the character. Ah, that's it. Let's chill. Pretty cheap character to build, honestly. You don't even need to go 777. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with her. Multiple things. First of all, the most important. Not really worth pulling for her and even getting her unless you are willing to fully invest into your Isabel. That's the only condition. If you are willing, she's opening up a lot of team compositions. She's really flexible in the sense that you can put her into like any team composition and she will actually work pretty well, right? So the first thing is her skills. This is nice. She's cheap. Her scaling is not that great. A 444 or a 777 is gonna be bringing the similar amount of damage on your characters. And a 10-10-10, of course, is gonna be an increase, but I would go level 4 for starters. And only take her to 777 if you care more about like Isabel personal damage. You level up her skills, is more damage for Isabel. If you want your Isabel to do more damage, you keep leveling up her skills. But for now, I'm gonna be recommending like a 444. Of course, things will change. But this is nice because this is cheap. You don't even need to overload her. And if you overload her, the only thing you care is actually going to be max ammo capacity. That's the only thing. Because there is nothing here that's final. There is final attack on her burst, but that's trash. We don't care about that. So you don't care about anything but max ammo capacity because she has a 2.5 second reload time, which also ties us to the cube. The only cube you need to worry on her is resilience. Bastion is not gonna be as good, and because you want to be making her reload faster. Of course, if you have someone like Grown giving reload speed or something else, you could be going for Bastion if you have enough max ammo, but for the most part, resilience will be better. That said, that's like the initial impressions on how to build her. I don't think it's gonna change much, but let's talk a little bit about damage on Isabel, as you guys just saw right there. Possible team compositions, why she's so flexible right now, and my initial impressions overall, like I was saying earlier, a little bit more in depth of what I would pull or not. So, compared to Cindy, no comparison, obviously, okay, obviously. Still, it's great damage. You have to understand Cindy is the strongest electro character in the game, right? And she's doing 1.7. This is all on neutral, by the way. This is all on neutral. My Cinderella is too build, too strong. 4 elemental, 4 attack, 3 max ammo, so it's not really worth comparing them on elemental. All of these tests have been done on neutral for that reason. Isabel, 22 attack, 68 attack, main priority, 15 attack, 50% max ammo. Drake, 5% attack, 96% max ammo. By the way, when I overloaded my Isabel yesterday, guys, I'm so unlucky. So unlucky. I got a max ammo here, an attack in there, a crit rate black in here. What the fuck? An attack in there. A crit is actually good for her, and I will be making a separate video on the updated build for Isabel, but that's not today's topic. So as you can see, compared to a fully invested Cinderella, she's nowhere close, but is still doing good damage. This means Isabel is usable. She is a good DPS. We can say Isabel is a good DPS in 2025. What has the world become? Now, the team that most people will be testing her on is Shotgun because it makes sense, but she is not tied to Shotgun. This is a pretty flexible character. You could be running her on shotguns, just like you could be running her on Litterdola, just like you could be running her on Miranda, someone else in there, right? But starting with the shotgun team, as you guys can see right here, my Isabel is doing 900 with Arcana and my Private Leona, and 1.1 with Arcana and Drake. If I switch to, for example, Bunnies instead, so still Toph, nor Blanc, I'm getting 960, which is pretty close, pretty similar at the end of the day. My favorite team so far for Isabel has been this one, however. Arcana, Drake, Dollar, Liter. She's doing 1.1 right here, 1.3, and what I was using instead of Dollar, Leona. So this could also be like a possible team composition we might see on raids. People running Arcana, a secondary V2, whatever it is, and Liter, or maybe Tove if you have it fully invested. Mine is not, right? So as you can see, on all the team compositions we put her, both of them, Arcana and Isabel, they work. They are a pair that are plug and play. But it's a plug and play pair. You need both of them. If you don't have Arcana, Isabel is still one of the worst DPSs in the game. In fact, so you guys understand this, okay? And before we talk about this and I rant, I also was trying Miranda Treasure for crits, and as you can see, works pretty well. Miranda with Dollar, 1.3, 600, 1, 600. This one was the 200 to check the skills at level 10 and 10. It's worse because the scaling at level 500, of course, is going to be much better. So, as you can see, she's really good, but the biggest issue we're running into is that Isabel is doing the same damage on my account as a 777 that my friend's destined at 111. Her damage is not coming because she's proccing a skill 2 more. It's still trash. This skill is still bad. The only reason she's doing damage is because she's getting 180% attack damage, 200% attack buff. Of course she's gonna be doing damage. But that's not how you make a fucking buffer. They made a character that only works with this unit. And then of course on the future they could be releasing more, right? But the condition is it needs to be an electro character, it needs to reduce spell burst duration. Those two conditions to make Arcana work with someone. And that's not, to me, a good way of designing a support, because it's clearly made just for Isabel as a treasure, just like Trina was made specifically for Scarlet. I am not in love with this, but at the same time, this keeps opening up more and more team compositions for solo raid, which for people who don't have a full roster is good. Now, my predictions, I still need to test. Okay, so I still need to keep testing. My prediction, this is on my local website, is that I am probably thinking on a T3 for Isabel. I'm gonna be honest, just because she's doing good damage doesn't mean anything. She becomes a niche filler character, and she only becomes that if you have Arcana, right? And Arcana will most likely be also there with her. They are, to me, what it feels niche units. Characters that, yes, they work and they are doing great damage together, but the amount of resources you need to spend for 2 characters instead of just 1 is too much. But I need to think if that's how I want to handle the tier list or not. In terms of, you know, a character that can clearly only be used in like ultra specific situations, to me is niche already, but we'll see. I think they both will be T3, but they could be going into a T2. This is just the first impressions, a lot of things could change. But that's basically what I wanted to show you guys today for these first impressions, a little bit of her damage, her team compositions. I think if you care about raids, it's worth getting 1 copy, but it's worth getting 1 copy only if you are a tryhard in raids. If not, of course, not worth it. If you don't have Isabel, there is not a single reason to pull for this character. She should be going into the wishlist for most of you. There is 0 reasons for her to be going anywhere else. In fact, wishlist has been updated, so remember guys, if you did not get Siren, you can put her on the wishlist already, or if you want more dupes of Siren. That said, I think that's gonna be for this video. It's gonna be a short one, most likely, because there is not a lot to talk on the first impressions. I like that Isabel finally is getting usage. I like that she can be used as a DPS, doing more than Maid Privacy than Drake Treasure, right? At the same time, I hate that this is the way how they are handling treasures for pilgrims. They introduced the treasure system, they said it was to buff all characters, and now they are going, as usual, back on their word and ignoring systems they already introduced just to sell newer units. It is what it is. The gacha life cycle says love you. In my opinion, put it on the wishlist, or you can wait until the full review and the updated tier list. That's it. That's gonna be for this video. We're gonna be live later. Feel free to drop by, say hello, leave a comment down there to help me with the algorithm a little bit, right? And that's it. Good luck with your pool dinner rates. I'll see you on the next one.